like and the junior nationals. Overall, I was gonna talk about the Spain show, but we kind of assumed Evie Escandar would win, and it's hard to talk about the European shows because when these girls come here, they wind up getting their asses kicked. Sorry to say, we expected Evie and Lisa to be in the top two spots, and then the other girls, it's how they placed. Tyler did judge, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say about these competitors and what they can do to improve to be close to what the criteria here in the states are, because we've only seen, I think, only Evie and Lisa compete here in the US, and Evie's won two shows, and now this is her 15th. And honestly, this is one of the best seasons that I think that she's ever had in her since 2021 when I first saw her when she started out. But we're going to be recapping the Nevada State Pro, and I know there was a lot of talk about how the show went. I felt like the judging was kind of weird how they did the prejudging, because you're used to seeing like your first call outs, like your top six, and then they go into second call outs. But they did this weird thing with the rotation. I don't know. This is something that I see muscle contests typically do. Not trying to critique them too much, but I just that's their style of judging. It's different than kind of traditional, if you want to say it. But let's talk about these girls. In fifth place, we had Payton. So I'm gonna pull up her stage photos because I didn't find any on her page. Let's see, honestly, she's been getting up there and improving ever since the season. She's had shows where, she was, I think, sixth, she got fourth. I think one show she got eighth, and then she gets fifth. So she's right back at the spot. Like, she has a physique that can be very good. I honestly thought she could have gotten third, and that's what I had her initially. But this is a great look. She has great stage presence. The only thing that I feel like is really hurting her is her waistline. It just tighten that waist spot on, the conditioning spot on. It's just getting her waist down and then obviously improving her upper glutes right here. If she can find ways to make that work and how and adjust to that, it would it would really accentuate her physique very much. Honestly, this is probably one of the best looks she had. And even her fourth place at Wasatch was just as good as this one as well. But I feel like if she can find ways to get the waist down and her glutes, that can really help her physique out. So that's her front, and then we're going to go into her back. So hair's good, shoulders are good, conditioning spot on, the tie-ins are good. I feel that the suit cut could have had a little more fabric so it doesn't look like she's flat at the top or like missing out. Her hair does do that way of covering it up. How she's posing is very good. Just make sure that she doesn't get too crazy with the calves, and she got some great calves, but like making sure that she doesn't look too hard. I felt like a lot of girls here, and maybe I see things differently. Maybe Sean had a different point of view from what she saw live, but I felt like a lot of the girls here were like too conditioned too hard. But I don't know. We'll have to see about that. But honestly, this is good for her. But I just feel like if she could just improve her glutes, because in the back she's great, but in the front that just needs to reflect that, and it's just making her waist smaller and keeping her glutes full. She is shorter. She's about like 5'1", 5 feet tall, so she's very compact. She just has to make sure everything works well together and obviously bringing everything in. But stage presence, everything on point. Suit color is fine. I'd keep the suit color. I wouldn't change a thing. And all right, that's about Peyton. Okay. Next, fourth place, we had Tibet. Hold on. I can get on here quickly. I do have her from her on her page, so go here. Share. See. So I'm still trying to get used to her blonde hair. I'm used to her darker hair that I saw like 2 years ago. She's a European girl, but from what I know and what I've seen in her page, she was doing powerlifting, and I just gotta say, like, you have to really if you're trying to be a top bikini pro and like do well in these shows, you got to get out of that training style and focus on like more specific bikini. But like you kind of see like conditioning her arms or biceps, like the shoulders are good. Um, but I feel like, and she has a beautiful look to her, and the red suit's fine. She's kind of like a younger miniature Ashley. I mean, they're on the same team, but I felt like there's things about her that could been worked on. Like her tan was like a little splotchy a bit, kind of flat at the top. She was really tight, almost too hard. Do that it makes sense for bikini because when she's walking back, you can kind of see how dense and hard she is. But I feel like if she just comes in just like a little softer to just adjust to the bikini criteria, it makes sense. But yeah, I just feel like the one thing that really hurt her was the tan. I mean, I would have had her, I had her, I think, lower, but honestly, great looks to her. I just feel needs to come in to where it's like meeting bikini, like being a lot. So over time, I feel like they're gonna figure out her her and her team's gonna figure out her physique. But I think for her, it's just coming in, more fuller than more leaner and harder because and she's a smaller girl, so that's one thing I would say she needs to work on. I mean, the suit's great. The suit color is fine. Um, but yeah, you could kind of see it where it just doesn't, have enough coverage right here, and it makes her glutes look, you know, flat at the top and then like very hard when you get into this like bottom half. Show you guys again. But yeah, when she's walking back, she looks like very like tight and hard. But I gotta say, you if you're trying to do bikini specific, you got to get out of that powerlifting training style. Okay. And then third, we had Nay. Do I not have her back pose up? Let me see. No, we do. So she's already Olympia qualified, so she had nothing to lose going to the show. The biggest issue for her is always going to be her posing and her front pose. I feel like there's if she could just find ways to adjust it and look more comfortable on stage and be more confident in that, it really would accentuate her physique. She is taller, so and she's taller, longer legs, and then shorter torso. So one thing is, I don't think she needs to add any more to her shoulders. Like this is already good. Anymore, she'd be like that's exactly where my eyes are going to. Um, her glutes are grateful. She did come in. I think maybe she's just a little too tight. If I'm just looking at this right now, like I said, stage photos, what they see on stage is much different. The blue suits, the brighter colors work very well for her. Makeup's good, but I just feel like this front, like physique's great, but just how she's posing kind of throws it off. It feels like she needs to find ways to relax this and not look so like rigid and stiff. Let me see. But this back pose is really good. I mean, those long glute insertions, like India Paulino. But I feel like this was just way too. This is way kind of way too hard for her because she's like you could see how how her hamstring tie-ins are like protruding out more. If there's ways for her to just balance that out in her back, because like right here from like from shoulders to like waist is really good, but then when you start to get into like this lower area, you can almost kind of see like how lean she is getting up into like her lower limbs. I think for her, it's just adjusting her posing and just doing a few tweaks here and there could really help her and move her up in that spot. But she has an amazing physique. And there's no question that, the genetics on her are just really good. And honestly, having that great structure in bikini is really what's going to carry help you be successful posing. That is number one thing that she can do from now to is just fixing her posing. She is still a newer competitor, but over time she's got to have to figure that out. And I think with her new coach, that's something that that she has had since last year when she qualified. It's just some things that she can do to continue to improve on. So then we have our second place girl. Let's see. Second place was Tori. Let's go here. Honestly, she has a beautiful physique. Love the hair, the pink suit that contrasts well for her. This is her second pro show ever. So she did Pittsburgh and didn't place there, but then she came here and then got to second. So that's a really great improvement for her. What I think for her waist, like I don't think that that's an issue. I think I would just adjust her posing and just get a little more shoulders up here just to balance out her lower body. Because like from waist down, it's like one of the best structures and honestly one of the best glutes in the whole show. But I feel like when she's in her back, she could just kind of relax that a bit. It's just like kind of like open it up because you could kind of see like her when she's like pushing back with her like scapula right here. But tie-ins, glutes, really spot on. This is like really good, especially for a new pro to have that. I mean, it's someone that can do very well. And I thought she was going to do very well at the show, but it's just going to be a matter of what shows up and what how she's going to present it. But for her, honestly, the hair's fine. Suit's fine. I think she could maybe use a little fabric. I know sometimes these suits kind of get smaller because you want to show more detail, but if she can find ways to fill this out because right here it looks good. Right here from like going from like her lower back to like rounding out, that is like spot on. Conditioning spot on. I would just posing, makeup's great. I would just fix the posing a bit and just get a little more up top because I don't think she needs to add any more. But honestly, this is very competitive, very strong for a rookie to look like this. Wait, hold on. And that's just my feedback. I do think maybe I feel like a lot of the girls here did come in a little too conditioned. Maybe I'm saying that a lot because I think of how they were looking compared, and then it's like who's the best one out of the whole lot. Also, maybe I would fix her suit top. Let me see if that's kind of the same thing she did in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I would fix more the suit top a bit to have a little more coverage. But honestly, great improvements from here to from Pittsburgh all the way to Nevada State. Just a couple things that can be fixed. And honestly, I definitely think she can win a show. But she's got an amazing physique, amazing structure. Right. And then our winner. But if we're talking about the balance and like the best physique that was on that stage, Tiana was it. Regardless of what people say, if she's young, doesn't have this, she is a shorter girl, like long legs, long arms, shorter torso, but she finds ways to minimize it. She's minimized her movement. She's minimized like waving so it doesn't look too distracting. Um, one thing about her, I would just keep going in is obviously one thing that's lacking in her is the muscle mass to be against the top 10 girls. I mean, this is going to be her first Olympia, so it's going to be a great experience for her and to see where she stands. Being one of the last ones up, unfortunately, because of her last name being Weymouth with a W. So one thing that's going to be is like how she's going to go through the whole Olympia lineup. Right now, there's about 53 girls. There might be around like 60, 70, 75 girls on the stage, but she'll be one of the last ones to go up. So for her, I would just continue to improve on, adding the muscle size, keeping her upper glutes full, and just making sure that she poses with more confidence. Sometimes I feel like she gets a little, maybe I'm wrong to say this about Tiana about this, but I feel like sometimes she gets nervous in certain lineups but over time she gets more confident when it shows that in her posing. It's going to really help her out. She did look a little hard in the quads, but I felt like they were just trying to fill her out, and making sure that she doesn't look too lean, because that's one thing about her. Because that's the biggest thing is she's even told me this, that she's kind of reduced how many times she's training her quad so she doesn't come off too hard. And that's something that has to work through with her and Adam. But overall, I do like this look. The hair, the suit, the glam, everything's really spot on right here. Maybe I mean the posing's good. She just has to exude that confidence on stage and then show that. If you have to be confident in yourself that you can win and best physique, and she had the best physique on this whole stage. Other girls, I felt like they had they had good stuff, but it wasn't just one thing. It's a whole entire look that encompasses the best physique in bikini. It's the whole balanced look. It's the whole entire look. It's not just she has great shoulders, she has great glutes, she has great tie-ins. It's everything encompassing in that. And the biggest thing I think about here was, the look, and I think they were kind of going with who was close to what was ideal. I mean, I feel like the other girls were lacking a couple things and that kind of knocked them down. But honestly, Tiana had the least amount of flaws. There was a 1 point difference between Tori and Nay. So it's honestly just who presented it much better and posed with that. And Tiana pretty much was the best of the whole. I think there's like what, 18 girls in the show. So let's get into her back. I keep saying Tiana. Sorry. Sorry. I'm trying to get used to it. um Back pose is really good. Um, One thing for her is just, I mean, this is pretty spot on. Just want to make sure that she doesn't come in way too tight because sometimes her hamstring could pop up. But glute fullness is there. She still needs to work on upper glutes. She still needs more muscle mass because she is a smaller girl. She is a smaller competitor. So, and obviously posing with that and going back, and when you go through rounds and rounds of posing to make sure who is the best physique, and this is the right pick for them. But she was the best physique. She had the right pick. Um, I would keep not, and I wouldn't add any more to it. I mean, one thing in the past was she needed more shoulders in the front, but in the back, shoulders are great. Tie-ins are good. Poses is it's much fixed before because back then she used to stand like where her feet were straight and it caused her quads to flare out and it was overpowering her glutes. But right here, it's a great balance between glutes and legs, and from her lower body to her upper body, best balanced physique on stage. And I got to say this: congratulations to you, Tiana. You're going to the Olympia. You're one of the youngest pros probably since I think it was Beatrice Biscaya to get to the Olympia stage, and that was when she was 18. I mean, it's been a long time, but it's crazy. So I know that a lot of, and I'm gonna, before I review the junior nats, I just kind of wanted to say that because she's young and Tiana is really young and getting to the stage and getting to the Olympia stage, it's not because she's an overachiever. I don't think it's because they liked her and they wanted to do that. No, I felt like she had the best physique. It's who presented that physique well. I mean, she's the youngest bikini pro probably since, Nicole was young. Let me show you Nicole. Get to Nicole. Here's Beatrice. Like, Nicole was the Miss Olympia, and that was like the OG bikini, like way back in the day. But she was one of the youngest to win it back in like 2011, and I mean, the way that we've seen bikini change in the past, over 16 years, it's truly amazing to see that. But she's one of the youngest pros to do that, and she's now a doctor, huh? Courtney. Then you had Courtney. I think this is when she won Tampa, and this is when she won the Olympia. So the divisions really evolved since then. And what I got to say, what Tiana has accomplished is not something that could have been done. What Courtney and Issa have, but Courtney was one of the youngest pros. She turned pro at 18, 2 months before her 19th birthday. Because I know she was born in 1993, and she did her first Olympia at 20 years old, back when the Olympia was in September, because her birthday's like, I think, middle of September, and it was toward the end in 2013. That was when she had her first one, and she was seventh, and Ashley K won that one. And Ashley was 24. I should know because she was born in 88 or 89. She's going to be 37 this year. So she's born in 88. but the whole look that she has is totally different. And then Issa, yeah, this division's evolved way since. Beatrice turned pro at 17 and did her first Olympia at 18. She did only, and a lot of people kept saying in my post about the youngest pro. The reason I didn't have Beatrice is because she only competed for 2 years and then stopped all of a sudden. But I felt like as that's how bikini was evolved. Her 2019 12th place Olympia look, probably even amateur show even so that, because she has such an amazing physique, such amazing genetics. And I sometimes think of, what could have been when in the 2020 Olympia, she was just she didn't place because I felt like she was really soft in the back. Her front was probably one of the best, but it just did not reflect. And you're not going to win or not do very well when you're 100% on one side and then 50% on the backside. But she did that stallion pose so well, and it really accentuated her physique. But another thing was she didn't win it. She never won a show in the US. And those three girls that I had won shows in the US. And sometimes we forget about girls in the past, but I appreciate the past girls, and because I think it's what made the division is what it is now. Because as a fan and as someone who's been in the sport, I appreciate the eras because it brought to what it is today. I'm not kind of like living in the past. I'm living in like, oh, this is the now. Because what Tiana what Tiana is Tiana Weymouth. She is not corny. She's not Issa. She's her. This is her, and now this is her time to shine. Okay, but you can't compare the past to the present because you can't compare eras because what was being awarded now, what was winning then is not going to win now. It is much difficult in bikini now than it is in the past because you didn't have so many competitors back when these girls were winning shows and doing a lot of things. And also, I actually interviewed her. I'm going to have my episode with her up next. The youngest one that I had turned pro at 19. Abby, get her up. Let's see. Here we go. So she turned pro at 19, just six, and then got her pro card at nationals after 6 months. She's born in June. I think she's now 20. Yeah. This is Amy Delgado's first pro ever. Get stage. Here we go. Let me just get a Gilco video. But obviously, girls when they turn pro, it's what you do with it. It's not what you have. It's not your Miss USA, your Miss North America. It's what you do with your life. She took second in her class, and so did Courtney. Courtney took second. She wound up becoming a Miss Olympia. Tiana won her class at Junior Nationals, and then since she turned pro, did 3 years, and then found right. But she's had shows where she didn't play. She's not. Tiana's not what I call an overachiever. She works hard just as much as anybody else. I mean, that's not discrediting the fact that she has great genetics and all. It's not discrediting that she won the show. Like, I feel like she was the best one. It's who's the best physique, pretty much, and that's the subjectivity of the sport. Let's see, she didn't have any stage photos by herself, but I'm very happy for her. And I think here you have someone that's bringing in traction to the sport because you've had promoters in the NPC saying or like pro show promoters saying we're suffering because we had a loss because numbers and we didn't have enough to get the ROI we needed. And here's this young girl bringing this whole generation of athletes into the sport and inspiring women across the world. I feel like Tiana's doing such great things that she may not even realize, and doing good things for the sport and for the industry. And for someone to go and say, didn't deserve to win, or, I saw the shit that Courtney King got when she won. They called her a brat or entitled, or no, she never felt like that at all. And when she won in 2016, that was the best one. And maybe they were trying to go for a softer look, and then, but it didn't. And she was the best look that they decided they wanted out of those 42 girls. And then getting all that negativity online and social media, especially with the Reddit people. And then I don't think, with that combined and also having an eating disorder, I think she couldn't keep she couldn't retain it. And then she wound up quitting. But Tiana's young. She's only 21 years old. She still has a long ways to go when if she wants to continue 10, like 5, 10 years from now. And I definitely think that she's going to continue to improve on that. I mean, this was a good physique, but obviously every year she has to keep evolving and adapting and getting better as time goes on. And I'm happy to say that I got to meet her, and I got to, tell her that, you're not, because this is your era now. This is your time. Okay. You're not what you are in the past. I don't, like, can you be in those top spots of, eventually, but not soon. People look at people's success and they see, someone, they won their amateur, they won their overall, then they turn pro a month later and they got everything. And now they think that they're better than one. Tiana never thinks that way. I don't think she ever thinks so highly of herself. I think that she puts in the work. She's in school. She's, fixing things that she needs to do. She's getting feedback from every judge and every show that she does, and then continues to go on from there. And I definitely think that as long as she continues from that point on, in a couple years from now, she can potentially be someone in that conversation to win. And I don't, I think of what Beatrice Biscay had the potential to be, like maybe top 6, top 5 had she continued. But I feel like the way Bikini's changing and, you know, accomplishing things so fast, so young, I felt like she couldn't take it. And that's eventually why she hadn't been on stage in, 5 years, and why eventually she decided to stop. But I'm happy for you, Tiana. I'm hoping that if she sees this or watches this, that understanding that you're doing great things and you have a bright future ahead of you. So, anyways, enough of that. We're going to be previewing junior nats. I'm going to be looking at some of the girls that I feel like have that potential to, turn pro. I don't know many on the bikini side for this one. I mean, if there's some from junior USA's or some that have done a show in the past, maybe I could find one. I'm going to talk about her, and there are a couple girls I want you guys to look out for fit model and see what they go through. So I'm going to start with the fit model girls first, starting with, let me go to, I think her name's Angela. Yes. Get a stage photo. I think she's James's athlete. Yes. She used to be in bikini. She did the muscle contest show, like the very first one. Here we go. She's a taller girl. She has a shorter torso. But I feel like as she adjusts some things and everything, I mean, in the back she's pretty good. But I'd say look out for her. I don't know if she's going to be H class or C, D, E, F, G, H. I don't know if she's G or H class because she's out for H tall, but also Annie taller. Oh, Annie's doing bikini. Oh, Annie Baker's doing bikini. But I feel like for me, she should stick with fit model. But she likes the challenge, and I commend her on it. But only class winners and junior nationals get pro cards. So this is Annie. I think she needs like a better suit cut in the back because it's very thin. But honestly, she could do very well in fit model. It's just that she has to get that conditioning and that like fullness and posing down for bikini if she's deciding to go that route. Then, let's see. I think this is one of Sean's sponsored athletes. She won the overall at Legion. Like that girl looks like fit model. Like this physique literally says fit model all over it. Like the red on her. Any videos? We got a video. Great posing. How she did. I'd say look out for her. I definitely think she going to turn pro. And then Yasmin. She won the Miami. I love her smile. Let's see. Yeah, that was when she was in bikini. I think from the back. If she doesn't show her back as much, I think that's something that she needs to bring up. And obviously, you can kind of tell like people will show what they're good at and they're not going to show what they're not good at. But I think if she doesn't turn pro here, you can continue to work on that. No, hold on. Why did the explore page come on? Let's see. Go to let's go to Allie. Yeah, I follow her YouTube. I like Allie because she's just as real as it gets with anybody else. You could call her an influencer or any of that, but I like how she's just real with her audience. She shows everyone what she's going through. She's like, I'm starting off here, you know, and this is what I look at in off season. And then like she shows you week by week by week what she goes through. And by the time she gets to stage, she looks like a totally different person. It's like, like this is insane. I mean, she looks incredible when you see how she goes from off season to like stage. It's truly amazing to look like. I think this girl right here was in the same class and she got her pro card at junior nats. Part of me when I'm looking at her physique, part of me feels like she just needs to be like a little more tighter because right now I'm like, I know I'm kind of giving her harsh critiques, but like I feel like you're talking about someone who's trying to be like a pro, like bikini, like a bikini pro right now. I think that she just needs to be a little tighter in the back. But I don't know, maybe something happened, but I don't know if she's gonna turn pro here or she's gonna turn pro at the next show. But I feel like regardless what happens, she's obviously great. And I love the fact that she's just being real with like her audience and telling people what she's going through. One video she's like, I had to edit out that I was crying. I'm like, no, you should show that you're crying. You're showing people that you're going through it. It's not like feel bad for me, I'm suffering and I'm dying and cardio is hard. No, she's being real with her audience. Gotta say, love the toxic suit. But she has the sponsors. People support her because they like how genuine and real she is with her audience, and meeting her as well. She's such an amazing person. But now you're talking about her turning pro. It's like I feel like Young just needs a lot more time, but I definitely think that if it's possible this year, it's because she nailed the peak and came into the right condition. But I don't know how many people are going to be in junior nats. I don't know the numbers yet. We'll find out Saturday. And regardless, I definitely think that becoming pro or not, it doesn't change a thing. It's you're going to still go back to the gym. You're still going to put in the work. You're going to do what you love, and yeah. But I just love how she is, and obviously, whatever happens, happens. But that's one I'm going to be paying close attention to and seeing what she can do to improve on. And obviously, when she gets compared in her class, we'll see what the other girls in the class have and what she doesn't have, or what me, or vice versa. All right, that's my preview of junior nats. There wasn't many names that I had saw on the list. There wasn't like any like those new like big names in the amateur. Obviously, I knew Ali Princess, and I'm looking to see what she can do. But we're going to be previewing the World Classic. Exit out a couple of these things. Crap. Hold on. Get out of this. Out. Okay. Let me see. Are we on the page? Here we go. So we got a big list, and what's going to happen is a lot of the girls that turn pro. There's going to be 8 new pros. They have the opportunity to do their pro debut here. I don't know how many are going to do it. They have that choice to do it. Will they do pretty well? Probably not. I probably would see them outside the top 10. But we're going to look at some of the girls, and obviously our front runner to win is the Miss Olympia Ashley. Any show that she is in, she is the front runner to win it. If I can find her, let me see. I actually have the Mile High show, but that Mile High show only had front poses on it. But still coming back with the improvements. I mean, obviously Ashley is the front runner to win because it's Ashley, and any show that she's in, she's the girl to beat. And it's if you could beat Ashley, you can win the Olympia. Just saying. But yeah, that's one person we have. That's obviously the biggest standout here. Some girls I would say that could be a challenge to her would be Ariel Barley. She hasn't been on stage since Girl Power. Let me get up her stage photos. I think the biggest thing for her is always going to be how she's posing because she has an amazing back pose, but it doesn't reflect in the front. Here's Ariel. The pink suit's great on her. She has a beautiful look, beautiful structure, but I feel like how she's doing this with the shoulder kind of throws it off. At the Olympia in 23, her leg was straight. So if she can just adjust a couple of those things, this is a really competitive physique. This can do very well. And she actually defeated what's her name, Ali Vahauer in the show that she qualified for 2 years ago to get to the Olympia. But if she can, if she's had time since April to, I can say it could, she could be one of those girls to reflect. But now it's just going against Ashley. How what that's going to show up to? But let me show her back. See here. Honestly, great pack pose. Obviously, be mindful of her hand. You know, like from the balance right here is very good. It's just how she poses in the front, I think, is going to be the determining factor of how she does very well here. So we have to look out for her. Okay, let's go. Let's see. Let's go. Just trying to get something out. Go. Let's go to. Where's Allie? Ali Vathauer is a previous Olympian. She made the first call out. She got 6th in Pittsburgh. She took 4th in Miami. She did do the blue suit. I would say that I go back to the red, stick with what works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. She's done purple in the past, but to make the colors look like the stage, kind of threw it off. Like I would go back to what you're originally good at and just stick with that. But amazing physique, I just feel like the biggest thing for her is just she keeps herself tight. It just needs to be like keeping that fullness because sometimes she does they go humidity affects everybody. The tan, it does affect you know how the fullness of the physique. But obviously, great look here. Love the makeup, love the suit, love the hair. Just I would change the suit up and obviously just be show up at some of your best. Yeah, you see, she went back to the red suit. Right. Next up, we have Ashley Hampton. So she hasn't been on stage since the Olympia. She did get qualified early at Southern Muscle. She was going to do Pittsburgh, but then unfortunately she had a car accident, so she couldn't compete in the show, and she had to pull out of it. I think she's recovered much better. She didn't have any injuries and all, but I think that's someone that we have to look out for. The biggest thing for her, sometimes she comes in too muscular, and or sometimes she doesn't nail the conditioning. But if she nails the conditioning, it comes in more fuller where she doesn't look so hard and etched in. Definitely could say that she's a favorite to win. I mean, it's going to be very interesting compared to Ariel and Ali, but I would say that she could be in the top spots, and even she's taken second to Ashley Kay in the past. I think my favorite suit color on her is probably like the teal suit, so I would go back to that. The purple suit's fine. I think the teal suit really stands out on her physique the best. Right here, very beautiful girl. But if she can nail it and do well against Ashley Kay, hey, that's awesome. Let's see here. Go to see Brittany Gillespie. So she just took second in Toronto. Conditioning was on point. I did say that I felt like she was a little too hard, but that was not the issue. The conditioning was on point. It was just it was posing much better. But she's one I'd have to say you look out for. I do think that if she was going to do a different suit color, I would go with a more royal suit just to help her stand out better. I don't know what this LED screen. Hopefully they do a good backdrop for her, but like this Toronto show, this is red and stuff, and it takes away some of the physique. But she's right there to win it. It's just a matter of like nailing it and being on point. It's Brittany Gillespie, China. So when she was going against Tara at the DC Pro, I felt like in her back she was kind of like fading. She needs to keep that back pose in front because she's really good in the front. It's just her back pose is really good, but she just has to keep that fullness and be tighter and not like start to fade on stage when they go through posing because you're going to be compared with the best right here. Honestly, this is very good from her shoulders going into like her lower body. But and it's just I think for her more glute projection could really help her out. She has the glutes, she just needs to project. The time is good, the posing is like amazing for her. It's just keeping that the whole time. And unfortunately, they're gonna go on in the evening. So it's just nailing the peak. Wait, I don't know how long the show's gonna last. The women go on Saturday, the men go on Friday. So they're gonna do prejudging and finals like back to back. So if she nails the peak, comes in with the right and keeps that fullness, I say she's one of the next up. Lolo, she's taken second, been close to qualifying. DC Pro, I think she took ninth. She's working with a new coach, so I definitely think with that, she's just gonna have to just adjust things, and she'll in over time she'll get used to it. I would fix this suit top. Hopefully, she sees this and gets a suit top that fits on her. I'm just hoping not for wardrobe malfunction. It just needs to fit better. Fit just needs to fit better. Shoulders, I don't think she needs to add any more. Sometimes she comes in a little too lean, too conditioned, but if she can fill out, come in on point, definitely could say she's one of the top girls to be looking out for. Right, Gavi. She's a beautiful girl and has an amazing physique. I think the purple suit is much better on her than the red suit. And another thing is just fixing this front pose. I would fix her suit top because it feels like it's just too wide on her. But in the back, she just, I think from what I saw, she's just tighter in the conditioning area. Here we go. Yeah, just a little more tighter in the conditioning, more just fullness up here. And just fixing this front honestly could really accentuate physique. She has an amazing physique. The hair is great, the makeup's good. The lighting here, DC, was a little too harsh, so it kind of took that away. But up close and personal, it's so much better from what everyone's telling me. And obviously, I saw what she looked like, but honestly, she fixed that. Comes a little more tighter. Okay, next, last we have making her pro debut, Danny. So she just turned pro at Junior USA. This is her pro debut. I mean, I think she could be in the top 10. If she's not, I mean, regardless, this is a learning experience for her to go against, Ashley and some of these girls. Unfortunately, the Dan Ray photos are too up close. I don't like that. But from what I'm seeing right here, I just think it's her front pose that could use some adjusting. But in her back, it's really good. If I have from my page what she looked like in the back. Here we go. Here's Danny. Like, she was the overall winner. I think she took third in the overall. She got a pro card. I just think could be tighter right in a midsection. But in the back, she's pretty solid. I just think she just needs a little more upper glute. Beautiful hair. Right. So that are girls we have to look out for. Oh yeah, one more. Because she did place third here last year. Judy. She did very well at this show. But then it's been like in the top 10 or like just like getting 12. Judy Ceballos. I like this pink suit on her. I think she should stick with that. But in Toronto, I think she had like a bluish. Yeah, she had a blue suit. Great stage presence, and obviously your eyes gravitate to her because she's always smiling. She has great stage presence, great posing. I just think it's just nailing the physique. And I would stick with the pink. I think the berry pink looks really good on her. Like, and she came out last year. I was like, wait, who is this? Like, that's great. That's a great separation of glutes and hamstring tie-ins. Right. So, is there anyone else I have to review? Kiki. I'm just going with your girls who like been placing very well this season. I think she was just a little too tight here. Listen to her glutes right there. I feel like she has to balance it out. The thing with her is structure. Her structure may be hurting her. So maybe she does well, maybe she doesn't. We'll have to see who shows up best. But honestly, the biggest thing, the suit fits perfectly on her. I like this green suit. But I think the biggest thing with her is how her structure compares to other girls. So I do see her in those top spots in the top 10. Maybe there's a chance she's out because of just how girls show up with better structure. But I'd say we have to look out for her as well. But if I was to pick a top 10, I would go, here's how I'd go. Okay, stop here. We're going to make picks right now. Okay, obviously, first I have Ashley K. second, I'll go Allie. I'm gonna go Ariel, Ashley H. Fifth, I'll go Brittany. Sixth, this is where it gets tough. I'm probably gonna go China. I'm gonna go Gavi. Uh, gonna go Lolo, Judy. Then I'm gonna go Kiki. I think from second place, that's hard to go about because this is going to be how others show up. I could see Brittany taking second. I could see Ashley Hampton. Um, I don't know if any of these girls could do enough to beat Ashley K. It's just it's hard to go against someone who's on point, especially here. But I'd like to be proven wrong. Maybe the placements are maybe people place higher than her. And I'm not favoring anybody. I'm not being disrespectful. And I think everybody has a good chance to win. Everyone has a good chance to do very well here. It's just gonna be like who shows up best on this show day. I mean, if there's anything else I could think of, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see how this whole weekend goes. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I bought the stream for just Saturday. It was only 14.99, so going to be paying attention all day and seeing how these new pros look and how, when they get into the pro league and what they're going to do. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing whoever turns pro and who does the pro show and how these girls are going to look against Ashley. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time and appreciate it. Peace out.